Hey Gators and sports fans, get all your Gator talk, news, analysis, and opinions on the Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning podcast. Find us on your favorite podcast platform or watch us on Facebook Live between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. every weekday. Pod Up, because we are Gator fans. So say, it's great to be a Florida Gator.
Good morning and welcome to a Wednesday edition of Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Good show lined up for you today. Second portion of the show, we'll be joined by PGA TOUR member Brian Gay, All-American golfer here from the University of Florida. He's preparing for the Arnold Palmer Bay Hill Invitational, which cranks up tomorrow. He then we'll be heading to TPC Sawgrass for the players. But first, we're going to kick it off for a guy who used to play on tour, or at least thought he played on tour, should be playing on tour.
No
Johnny
question.
C. Good morning, JC.
Well, good morning, QB. It's definitely the Champions Tour. You know, I'm at that age now. But for certain, But
here's what we would have to do. If you were a golfer on tour, we would have to really find you a good clothing sponsor.
Would we? Yeah.
So you'd look sharp on the golf course.
Well, not everybody can wear a Jan Hall T-shirt, on a podcast every day. So
collector's item, my man.
It is. That was a legendary place on campus. And speaking of legendary places, of course, the stadium that the football team plays in. And here we are. Let's see. It's March the 3rd. So about a year ago, we sat here, you and I, QB. And we really didn't have much of an idea of what was coming in terms of the extreme pressure that the country and the economy and everybody was put under with this COVID-19 and, of course, people's health. And here we are a year later, QB, and I'm sitting here thinking that there is a huge light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not a train coming at us, because I'm very optimistic on what I'm seeing in the news flow with regards to what we can expect perhaps by the end of this year, or I should say in the third and fourth quarter of this year, in terms of sporting events. Now, I'm excited to see the spring sports going on right now, but when we hear news that the state of Texas is opening up, the state of Mississippi has opened up, and that the University of Alabama is one of the first school to basically say, we're going to play in a full stadium. And so it makes me think that perhaps there is a chance that we will see, like those fans sitting behind you right there at the basketball arena, right, that we may see people be able to congregate again. And one of the reasons for that is that news came out just, I think it was yesterday, that President Biden said that there should be enough COVID vaccine for every adult by the end of May. So you get people vaccinated, you're going to start seeing people more confident of going out, in my opinion. And I think this is a precursor of what's to come. So I'm very optimistic as we sit here on March the 3rd. I keep wanting to say May for some reason, but on March the 3rd, 2021, QB. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, I know you got excited when Alabama stated that they were going to have a packed stadium.
Yeah, absolutely.
So hopefully we can get back to normalcy.
I want to see who follows that lead. You know, who's going to get on board. And I think the SEC, as usual, will be a conference that basically establishes a leadership position in this possibility for the season upcoming. I mean, look, people tell me that the University of Florida's ticket office is trying to sell tickets. I mean, they are out there looking for orders and asking folks if they want to renew, and it's not in a limited capacity whatsoever. Everybody I know who's a season ticket holder has been approached with the offer to get their seats back.
Yeah, I got my same seat, so there you have it.
That's right.
So, JC, speaking of, I think I saw where the NBA has started allowing fans in their arenas.
That's right.
Recently.
Yeah, that's right. And in hockey last night, they had 4,000 fans in Dallas for the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Dallas Stars. So I think that is the trend that we're seeing. But it's about the vaccines, as far as I'm concerned. And if If the president says there's going to be enough for every adult by the end of May, why would that be an optimistic bit of news that could allow folks to feel more comfortable going out, and that could allow administrators to enable that?
Yep. Tonight, Gators finish out their home season in the O'Connell Center, Exactech Arena, against the Missouri Tigers. It's a big game. It's senior night, but I don't even know if we have any seniors on this team. Then they go to Tennessee to finish up the regular season, and the SEC tournament starts next week. Last night in the SEC, Kentucky loses again. I'm going to read you a stat here, JC.
Sure.
Let me pull it up on my phone here. I saw this on Twitter. I thought it was kind of cool. Last night, Kentucky just clinched a losing SEC regular season record for the first time since 1988-89. Rick Pitino didn't do that with 7 scholarship players. Toby Smith didn't do that, despite being a piñata for years. And Billy Gillespie didn't even do that.
Right.
So here's John Calipari with a losing record in the SEC.
Yeah, it's surprising. I think, we will definitely perhaps see Kentucky bring a lot of these players back to play again. I mean,
but here's the thing, Joe, JC.
Always hurt Calipari.
Right. But, it's just like, you read these publications, in the summertime, you go through the Publix line and you find the Athlons and the Lindy's, and you open it up to whatever team, and it says they have 18 returning starters. Well, hell, they went 2-9 last year.
Right.
Just because they're returning starters doesn't mean they're worth a damn. So my point is, if Calipari brings these guys back, that doesn't mean they're going to be any better.
No, it doesn't. But typically, Kentucky's roster has always been castrated by the one and done, right? And that has really affected college basketball as a whole. And it's not a college NCAA issue to fix; it's the NBA's issue to fix. But they're not going to, because they don't care. So we have, a pretty good slate of games in the conference last night. LSU getting a win, Alabama beating Auburn. But the games that got my attention, QB, and I'm not sure how much basketball you watched last night, but I watched some before I fell asleep literally on the sofa, was of course, the Baylor overtime win over West Virginia that clinched the Big 12 for the Baylor Bears, who are 19-1, I believe. But the game that really got my attention and gave me made me double check was what Illinois did to Michigan at Chrysler Arena in Ann Arbor, winning the game by 23 points. And even though the Illini have more losses than the Wolverines have played, I think, 5 or 4 fewer games than Illinois in terms of just on their schedule. And Michigan will probably still win the Big Ten, but Illinois, to me, looks like the best team in the Big Ten. And probably, I would guess, most likely played themselves into a 1 seed with that game last night without their best player, Dusanmu. So without their best player, Illinois just smothers Michigan, just smothered them. Very physical. I think Illinois outscored Michigan 22-5 in second chance points. So they were very physical and just dominated the Wolverines. And it was convincing, and they made a statement. So Illinois really opened my eyes last night. I knew they were good. But to do that without their best player, literally, with Trent Frazier leading the way, gives me the reason to believe that Illinois could be a top seed or in the tournament.
Well, they're going to be a problem. They're probably going to be a 2 seed. I think Michigan's still solid as the 1 seed. I think a lot of it will be determined in the Big Ten.
Well, you could have 2 1 seeds. You could have 2 1 seeds out of that conference.
Yeah, but Ohio State's still in the mix as well. So
they are.
We got.
I think Illinois plays Ohio State next. So I think they play Illinois. I can just look it up. But they do. So Illinois plays at Ohio State on Saturday. You give if the Illini beat the Buckeyes, they're a 1 seed. I'm just going to say I think they're a 1 seed, and Michigan too, probably. So you could have 2 1 seeds out of the Big Ten.
Yep. We got a Facebook Live here from Brian, brought to you by Mellon Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. He says, any word on why Eric Gilbert left? Well, he never got here, first off. We talked about this the other day. There's a lot of issues there, mostly grades. I'm not sure where he's going to end up. It would not shock me if he ends up at Jackson State, honestly. But that's what the story is, part of the story. We got a text here on the Titan Mark text line, JC. It said, good morning, gents. Shane, could y'all please discuss some new topics, like how Mullen can't recruit and Mike White should be fired? Just kidding. I don't follow recruiting, and I hope Mike White is Florida's coach until he's 60. Later, Ryan. Thanks for the text, Ryan.
New topics. Yeah, that's all, Ryan. He's a very consistent fan of yours there, QB.
Well, I think he's a fan of the show, JC. He may be your fan.
He very well may be. We always liked Ryan. Even in our old radio days, he would call every day and give us some wisdom there from the area. But I think Florida. Listen, with or without this Gilbert kid, I mean, they're going to have a spring practice, and that's something
they're
they
in
didn't
spring
have
practice
last
right now.
Right, they're going to have so they're having spring practice. Okay, so they're already ahead of where we were last year, and so I think that's important. I think 15 practices, whatever the number may be, is what they need, and everybody's going to have that.
Yep. Tonight, like I said, the Gators play Missouri. I think the only other SEC game is A&M and Mississippi State. A&M, JC, do you realize A&M did not play one game in the month of February?
I do realize that.
Think about that.
Stuns me. It stuns me.
They did not play a game at all in the month of February. In the
entire 28 days of February. Yeah, that's a stunner. They have played a total of 15 games. They're 8-7. So I don't know how they're going to come out tonight at home against Mississippi State. I wouldn't expect them to be that good. They're not that good anyway, but it is good to see them at least get a chance to come out and play some basketball. I am really keyed into tonight's Missouri game because Florida's catching a team that is a little bit on the skids right now. With they snapped their losing streak, but they've lost. They lost the last time they played. And they're 14-7. I can't figure that out. I thought they were a better team than this, but we'll see what they can do tonight. Florida's a 4-point favorite in this game, and Missouri needs to play better if they want to help their seeding for sure. I think we still see 6 teams coming out of this league though for the tournament.
Absolutely. Refresh your vehicle on your brand with a vehicle wrap from Wrap Spot. March is your lucky month at Wrap Spot. Mention promo code Shane to receive 13% off your vehicle wrap. Don't forget, in the second portion of today's show, we'll be joined by PGA Tour player who's also a UF Hall of Famer, Brian Gay. Talk a little bit about his career, why he was a Gator. He won a national title here in 1993 or 94.
I want to say it was 93.
It was 93, yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll talk to him about his career. He's one of the more flashy dressers, like JC on the golf course.
Yes, indeed. I'm sure he's one of your fan favorites there, QB.
Yeah, he's it's crazy. He's a little dude, man. He's only about 5'9", about 160 pounds. And I'm going to talk to him a little bit about how these dudes are flying it by him.
He has made a great living on tour, though. Let's give it up for him. I mean, not a whole lot of wins, but certainly
he's got 5 wins.
But he's been playing, it seems like, forever. And I have to tip my cap to him for being able to keep his tour card, finish high enough to enable himself to stay on that circuit. There's only 100-something players that play on that tour, so. Good for Brian Gay. I mean, Chris DeMarco did the same thing, right? When he figured out how to putt the ball with a lesson at the Gainesville Country Club from Skip Kendall, and he figured out how to putt with that claw. It changed his entire career, Chris DeMarco. We all know this. And he started to compete then and almost won the Masters. So, this is impressive to see these old Gators still out there. DeMarco not anymore, but certainly
he's on the Champions Tour.
Yeah, he's a little bit older, right?
We've got a Facebook Live brought to you by Melton Law from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Dan says, Texas lifts the COVID restrictions next week. Maybe I'll get to go to the Gators Gymnastics Championship here in Dallas.
Yeah.
I didn't realize they were having the championships there in Dallas, but I'm sure they will shoot. Why wouldn't they allow a packed house in that arena?
Well, they allowed 4,000 fans at a hockey game last night. So that was at American Airlines Arena. And I would imagine that this gymnastics competition, I don't know if it's at American Airlines Arena or not, but Texas is opening up the gates. And, they're leaving the mask as a choice now as opposed to a mandate. Mississippi is doing the same thing. I expect we'll get news flow of other states to do this, and that is good for sports and sporting events. I still think in the NCAA tournament, when it comes to that event, we're looking at a bubble scenario still for that. Would you agree with that?
For what now?
For the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, well, they are going to allow some fans in there. They've already said, I saw somewhere that the governor of Indiana, or maybe it was the mayor of Indianapolis, just I think last week allowed, I don't know if it's full capacity, but he opened up a bunch of the bars and restaurants. Well, duh. I mean, fans are getting ready to roll in there.
If you want revenues, you got to open. It's just that simple. Now, it doesn't mean people are going to all show up and flock, but you have to give them the opportunity to choose to do that. So I think you're right. I think we'll get to that point, and it'll be, hey, look, last year we didn't even have it, right, QB? I mean, we sat here last year thinking we were going to see that. It didn't happen. So now we know we're going to see it in some form or fashion. It's nice. It's a relief.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Also, Gator baseball tonight hosts, weather cooperating, hosts Florida Atlantic. The Owls are rolling into town.
They'll play.
Okay. They'll play?
Yes.
The weatherman?
I'm telling you, they'll play. There's no rain today. Yep.
Okay. JC, you want to hear what This Day in Sports is brought to you by? Comfort.
I've been waiting
for this. Peace of mind is our promise. This month, get a free annual maintenance plan with every residential duct cleaning purchased, $199 value. Service departments available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
All right.
Now, I will tell you this.
Okay.
Not a whole lot happened on March 3rd in the history of sports. Okay? Right. Because this is about the best thing I could come up with.
You had to dig this one up. I bet you it took you at least 15 minutes, QB.
I mean, seriously, usually there's a couple things just pop out. Yes, people want to hear about that. There didn't hardly anything happen on March the 3rd. So in 1985, Bill Shoemaker, you know who that is?
Willie Shoemaker.
Bill.
Oh, William. Bill.
Bill Shoemaker becomes the first jockey to win $100 million.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing, isn't it? So what race was he in? Do you know?
Well, I don't know if he won $1 million, $100 million. $100 million in one race.
That's not what I mean. It's like what carried him over the top on this day.
I have no idea. They didn't tell me that.
Well, let's get that crack research staff better staffed. Okay, we need to know what. I mean, okay, good for Willie Shoemaker. That's great.
Kyle says here on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon, why not allow vaccinated fans to buy tickets?
I mean, I guess you have
referring to football tickets or what, but I think things are moving so fast in the right direction that, like you said, JC, hopefully everybody's vaccinated before next football season. At least that's what they're forecasting.
They're going to have enough of it by the end of May. So that's what we've heard, right? So I think people will choose whether or not they get a vaccination. But I do think that this is the kind of thing you need to have happen if you're going to open up, right? And so some folks are doing it a little bit earlier than others, like we heard from the University of Alabama. Like every classroom is going to be open. Students are going to go to class. They're going to walk across the quad. They're going to go to their sporting events. And in the fall, their stadium is going to be open for business. So, I mean, real business. So, I think by the summer, we're going to start seeing massive flows of vaccine hit the news. And we're going to see people get involved in that so they can feel comfortable about, the efficacy rate on these vaccines, QB, is of over 85 to 90%, with the exception of the J&J vaccine, which was basically announced yesterday or approved, but it's still very high, as much or more than the seasonal flu vaccine. So this is very good news. These things work, these vaccines, and this is what's going to happen.
So, JC, you asked for my crack research staff. You get it. Okay. So Billy Shoemaker won that $100 million at the Santa Anita Park.
There you go. That's what
the horse's name was Lord One.
Okay.
You asked, we delivered.
Well, that's no doubt. I was just curious why we didn't have that.
We appreciate the great staff.
Good job. Great staff
back at the control panels.
At Mission Control.
So we got another Facebook Live here. Not Facebook Live. We got a text.
Okay.
Text here on the Titan MR text line.
MR text line, yes.
Says, good morning, guys. Who are y'all's sleeper teams in the SEC tournament?
Thanks,
Darryl.
that question. That's a great
That
question.
is a great question. I'll let you go first, JC.
Well, I don't see how you can't say Florida's not a sleeper team after the way they played against Kentucky the other night. But a team that, if I'm not going to say Florida, let's just take them out. But I do think they are a sleeper team because of how they play sometimes on the road. And they've got one of the best road wins of any team in the country with a win at West Virginia. Maybe Illinois got the best road win out of any team in the country with a win at Michigan last night. But in the SEC, Florida is certainly going to be considered a sleeper team. But I'll give you another one that you will probably agree with, and that would be Mississippi. I don't know why, but they probably won't be a team to challenge. But, we have these chances for teams to play into the tournament. Mississippi is a team that has to play themselves into the tournament.
Yeah, so I mean, I like your pick with Florida, but they're going to be one of the top 4 seeds, so they're going to get a double bye. So I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say the Missouri Tigers, regardless of what happens tonight. They have 4 or 5 Tier 1. I mean, they beat Illinois down early in the year. They beat some really good teams. Yeah. They have a lot of veteran leadership on that squad. They got good guard play. So Missouri would be my sleeper. Arkansas is playing the best of anybody right now. Arkansas is on fire.
Arkansas is. They scored over 100, right? So last night. So no question, Arkansas is really jazzing up their resume, and they will be a very, very high seed, I think.
So, JC, now I know it's the everybody's been sitting on the edge of their seats for this.
This has been you've made them wait 20 minutes for this.
Yeah, but real quick, John says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Melon Law, he likes Tennessee as a sleeper. Okay. Tennessee just can't score the basketball enough for me. Yeah. Okay, Peachland Dentistry, Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte and surrounding areas. Visit peachlanddental.com. This is JC and the QB. Ooh. Golf picks, since we don't really have anything else to pick right now. We were supposed to pick NASCAR, but we can pick that on Friday. We're going to pick NASCAR on Friday. Why not?
Oh, okay, sure. I'll do my research on Thursday.
Well, do you do any research for golf?
I did this morning.
Well, you did a hell of a lot more than me because I just pulled up who's playing, and I'm getting ready to pick my golfers. So you get to go first this week.
All right, I'm going to go with Patrick Reed. I love his short game.
You love the cheater.
I think the cheater has a great short game. He's got a great short game.
Do you touch your ball when you play golf?
Yes.
Okay, so you and Patrick Reed are the same.
I wish we were the same. I tell you what, I'm not quite as talented, believe it or not, QB.
I'm shocked at that. I'm going to go with my first pick, and I just had him pulled up here. Daggone it. I'm going to go with Ricky Fowler.
Wow. I didn't see that one coming, although you do love Ricky Fowler.
I like Ricky.
Okay, my second pick is going to be one of yours and my favorite golfers that we have had success with in the past in other types of events and activities, and that would be one Hideki Matsuyama. I love him because of his consistency. He's a really good player, a great player. Yep. He needs to break through and win a tournament.
All right, I'm gonna be a homer here, but he's playing really, really good right now.
Yeah, you're gonna take. I know you're gonna take that former Gator,
Billy Ho.
Yeah,
Billy Horschel.
Well, he loves playing in these Florida courses. He knows how to play them. That's a good pick. I'm going to go, I've got this international flavor with these picks right now, having taken Hideki Matsuyama. So I'm going to take another international player to round out my roster. And it's not Jason Day, but rather Paul Casey. I'm taking Paul Casey because he can get hot, and that's the kind of course that I think he'll play well at. So
give me my last pick. I'm going to go with a youngster. I think he's from Norway.
Hovland.
Victor Hovland, the Oklahoma State. I got 2 Oklahoma State Cowboys on my roster this week.
Yeah. And watch out, by the way, for that team in basketball, bro. They got the best player in the country, and they are good. That's a good pick, Hovland. I mean, he had a good tournament last week, and, he's the kind of guy, streaky player. I mean, he can make 8 birdies at any time. Anytime.
So I got 2 Cowboys and 1 Gator. What do you got? You don't have any collegiate representation, do you?
I got some international representation, however. So we'll go with that. And I was going to take Jason Day, but I'm going to wait for him next week, maybe. So
yeah, a lot of the so-called big boys are waiting till next week for the
That's
Players'
right.
Championship.
That's a tough spot, to play 2 weeks in a row before that TPC, or 3 weeks in a row, I guess. But some need to work, right? Some need to work, and playing in Florida is much different than playing in California, the grass and so forth. So to get ready for TPC, some folks prefer to play a lot. Some want to wait. So,
yep. Kyle says here on Facebook Live, brought to you by Miller Law from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. I think he means Mississippi State beat Florida. Ole Miss didn't beat Florida. Mississippi State beat Florida. Their coach is Ben Howland. He was the coach of UCLA in the finals, playing the Gators when the Gators won their first national title.
Who said that Mississippi beat Florida?
He typed it wrong, I believe.
Oh,
I think
okay.
Sometimes those people get the Ole Miss and Mississippi State mixed up, but It was Mississippi State because that's where Coach Howland is the head coach. Now, Mississippi State is another team that they are the biggest team with length in the league that they could cause some problems.
They could cause some problems. They're a matchup issue for some teams. They just, they have to stay out of foul trouble. And you're right. They have to be able to bang the boards. It'll be interesting to see how they perform against that team that hasn't played a month tonight.
Don't forget, go to potupwithshane.com and put your name in the hopper for a Chomp Harder hat. And this week's winner goes to John Brock. John Brock is the winner of the Chomp Harder hat. Our folks at our crack research staff will get you your hat.
How did he win, QB? How did John?
No. All you have to do is go to Pot Up with Shane. You put your name and address and all this stuff. So, JC, if you want to win, just put your name in there. You're eligible. And then our great research folks back at the control panels pull a name out of the hat. Not out of the hat, out of the hopper.
Oh, the hopper.
Out of the hopper. And they get a hat sent to them.
Oh, baby.
So you like that hat.
I do. It's a trucker hat, baby.
Coach Spurrier has a Chomp Harder visor.
Aha. How about that? Did the crack research staff put his name in the hopper too?
No, he just he doesn't need. They just give him stuff.
Yes, he never gets that, does he?
No.
Oh, okay.
All right, JC. Well,
all right. Well, we
enjoy the Gators against Missouri while you're sitting on the couch eating popcorn this evening. 6:30 early start on the SEC
game.
Network.
All right, sounds
all right, my man. We'll talk to you on Friday. Go study your NASCAR.
All right, thanks, QB. All right.
At Center State Bank, we put business first. We're the largest community bank in the state of Florida. Understand that the small businesses need a community business partner that they can rely on. Center State has 4 convenient Alachua County locations. Center State Bank, member FDIC. We're going to take our first time out of this program. When we come back, we'll be joined by PGA Tour member Brian Gay. You're watching and listening to Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios.
Hey Gators, this is Coach Steve Spurrier. Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, where you matter most. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. G-Tech Sport, keep your athletes in the game with G-Tech Sport. Celebration Point Town Center, Center State Bank, Chris Doring Mortgage. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Rib Company, Doreen Wiebe Realtor Caldwell Banker, MM Parish, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Davis Gainesville Chevrolet, Niapa Latin Cafe, Rap Spot, Okido America, Gators Dockside, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, TB Financial, Meadowbrook Golf Course, Darshakow Insurance. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the Advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
back to this Wednesday edition of Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Celebration Point's where the Gators go to celebrate with premium brands like Bass Pro Shop, Nike, Sensei, Dave & Buster's, opening soon, Prime and Pearl, and coming spring of 2021. The HBC's new restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill and Visor's Rooftop Bar. We will see you at Celebration Point where the Gators go to celebrate. We're going to go to the Titan MR hotline now. We're joined by Brian Gay, member of the PGA Tour, former Gator Hall of Famer. How you doing, Brian?
Good, Shane. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. All right, Brian, before we get into what's going on the PGA Tour right now, I like to have guys go back to their younger days. What made you choose the University of Florida to go play golf?
Oh, gosh. It's kind of interesting. Oddly enough, I grew up a huge Georgia Bulldog. I lived in Georgia when I was really young. My dad was at Fort Gordon in Augusta, and my mom's side of the family was from Georgia, so all my family and friends were huge Bulldogs. So I grew up a Bulldog, and then I took all my official visits, never really thought about going to Florida. And oddly enough, Florida was my last visit that I took, and I really liked Buddy Alexander. And that I was going to go to Georgia, and then after my visit to Florida, I decided to go to Florida. I thought I could benefit more, and learn more and get better playing for Buddy at Florida. So that's kind of what happened. Yeah.
Speaking of Buddy, a lot of people say Buddy was hard on his players. Is that true?
Yeah, he was. It kind of depended. The guys that were kind of struggling for playing time, they felt like he was tougher on them, I guess. I mean, I was fortunate enough that I played right from the beginning, and I didn't really struggle to get in the lineup, so it was a little different spot for me. But he was very organized and pretty disciplined with us.
You played on the '93 National Championship team. Talk a little bit about that team, what it meant to win a national title, and some of the players that were on that team.
Yeah, that was obviously a great year for us. A little side note, we won the SEC all 4 years I played, and won the NCAA in '93. It was up in Kentucky, and I believe we had some bad weather and wind and stuff, but oddly enough, we had it came down to Chris Couch on the last hole. We had three of us. It was us, Georgia Tech, and North Carolina all tied with the last group on the last hole. And Chris Couch ended up having to make about a 3-footer for us to win by a shot. The other two guys bogeyed the hole. David Duvall was one of them for Georgia Tech.
Oh, wow. Speaking of Couch, Couch played on tour for a little bit. I heard he's trying to get ready for the senior tour. Is that right?
I haven't seen him in a while. I think he played last week in Puerto Rico. I know he struggled with his shoulder and back for a number of years. I saw him somewhere last year. I can't remember, but I think he's trying to play some more. I don't know if he ever had surgery. He's a year younger than me, so he's Couch is about 48, so he probably is trying to get ready.
Yeah. Brian, you turned pro, I think, in 1994 after you graduated from Florida, but it took you a while to get on the PGA Tour. I think the general public just thinks, if you're a good player in college, you just move right on to the PGA Tour. Talk a little bit about the struggles and how hard it is to get your card and to keep that card.
Yeah. It's exactly what I thought. Coming out of Florida, felt like I was going to get right out on tour and play, and that thing called Q School kind of got in the way. I breezed through that first stage, and then I struggled for, 3 or 4 times to get through second stage, and that was the biggest thing, because if you got through second stage, you were in the finals, which you at least were going to get to play at the time was the Nike Tour, which is now the Korn Ferry. So I struggled with that second stage and finally broke through with that. And but I was playing really good. I was winning tournaments everywhere I played. I just couldn't get through that second stage to get to finals to try to get my card. And I was finally able to do it, about the 5th try.
Yeah, you've won 5 times on tour. Recently won last year over in Bermuda. You're not a big guy. You weigh about 5'9", 5'10", probably 170 pounds. Is it amazing to you how far these guys are hitting the golf ball these days?
It is. It's absolutely crazy. I've always been one of the shorter hitters and just relied on, my game was always accuracy and short game. but yeah, the average age on tour has gone way down the last few years. Guys are coming up way sooner, earlier, younger, better, more ready to play. And, all these kids, they absolutely bomb it. And when I grew up, it was like, the whole thing was, get it in the fairway. Nobody was trying to bomb it back then. So now all these kids come out just hitting it forever. And actually, I'm, at 49, I hit it longer than I've ever hit it in my life, but I'm still below average.
Yeah, that's crazy. You think it's obviously due to technology, but, nowadays, I think back, when you were getting ready to go on the tour, you had the John Daly's who were out of shape and guys like that. Do you think it's so many guys are into fitness now that's allowing them to be able to hit the ball so much farther?
Yeah, it's definitely a big part of it. It's just like you said, the technology, and these kids are growing up with, trainers and psychologists and nutritionists and you name it. They've got all this stuff, whether they go to some of these academies that offer all that, or, they've got this team of people and they come out ready to go. And I think with the technology and all the 3D measuring and force plates and all this stuff, and with the TrackMans, everybody's figured out a way to optimize and hit it the furthest.
We're speaking with Brian Gay on the Titan Moore Hotline. You can follow Brian on Twitter at Brian Gay PGA. He's a Hall of Famer here at the University of Florida. Brian, I'm trying to think Gators on tour. You, obviously Billy, who played really well this weekend. Anybody else on tour right now that's a Gator?
Matt Every.
That's right, Matt.
Yeah,
that's right.
And Camilo Villegas has just come back from a few years off from his shoulder injury. He's playing again.
Okay, good deal. The reason I brought that up, they have a Gator Golf Day. That's usually during football season. I don't know if you've participated in that, but, they redid the Boston golf course. Gosh, it may have been about 10, 12 years ago. I can't remember now. But, back when we were in school, that golf course, in my opinion, wasn't a very good golf course. Do you like the changes that they made? Now it's immaculate. I mean, could you imagine the playing conditions that they have now back then?
No, I have not been on it in years since right after they did the redo. But I've heard nothing but good things the last couple of years about how great the greens are and how good the course has been. So I'm honestly not that familiar with it. Hadn't been on it in a while, but I've heard nothing but great things from JC and some other guys that have been up there. Got a friend here whose son's playing a lot of junior tournaments, and he just was recently up there playing in a tournament a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it's a really good golf course now, a lot better than when we were in school. Brian, on tour, I saw an article about you. It says, look good, play good. And all the years you've been on tour, you've kind of been a little bit different from an appearance standpoint with your wardrobe. Is that something that you've always had in you because you wear, the bright colors, the different types of shoes? Is that just something you've always wanted to be different than everyone else?
I don't think always. I kind of evolved into that. When I got on tour, a lot of the old school guys, you'd see a lot of khaki pants and white shirts, and I just didn't want to go out there. I didn't want to look like everybody else out there. So it just kind of evolved, and I just connected with some companies that were, fashion forward, and it evolved into, plaids and all sorts of different things, and matching the shoes to the outfits. And it's been fun to kind of put that stuff together.
Yeah. So you've won 5 times on tour. Those 5 victories, which one's your favorite?
Oh gosh, that's really hard to say. Tough to beat that first one because it took a while to get it. It'd be tough not to say Hilton Head when I won by 10 though at Harbortown. That was pretty fun.
Mm-hmm. I remember that. You got that nice plaid jacket, right?
Yeah, I did. I got the tartan jacket.
Yeah. Tell me what it meant when you were inducted into the University of Florida Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that was actually a little bit of a shock at the time when it happened. I wasn't thinking at that early of a time or young of an age. I didn't know all the rules or qualifications or whatever, but that was a big surprise, and just honored to be in it with all the other great Gator athletes. And we had a good run when I was there on the golf team, and it was a lot of fun and really improved my game and helped me get to the next level.
What's your favorite golf course that you've ever played?
Oh gosh, ever played? Augusta's one of them. Pebble Beach is great as long as it's not raining.
Yeah.
I like Shinnecock Hills a lot. Those are up there. Harbor Town's one of my favorite on tour, as well as Colonial and Fort Worth.
Let me ask you this about Augusta. I've been there twice, just to watch, and then watching it on TV. It's one of the most beautiful pieces of property you'll ever see there in Pebble Beach. I'm the golf fan, Brian, that likes to see you guys struggle. When y'all are shooting 15, 25 under par, I'm like, this is ridiculous. I like it when y'all are like 3 or 4, 4 under wins the tournament. When you watch, at Augusta, why don't they ever grow the rough up there?
Well, they have more rough than they've ever had at this point. They used to not really any at all. They started having more rough and they put more trees in, so it has tightened up a lot through the years. It's gotten longer and tighter. It used to be pretty much almost all fairway cut and then runoffs into the pine straw and the trees and stuff. And they've added trees on a lot of holes, and as you know, they've added a bunch of length through the years, and also somewhat of a rough cut.
Yeah. So you're getting ready for Bay Hill this week. Obviously, you live in the Orlando area. It's got to be a fun tournament for you, right?
Yeah, it's great. It's nice to not have to travel, get on a plane or anything, sleep in my own bed and just go down the road here and play Bay Hill. Always see a lot of, have some family in, a lot of friends around here. Hopefully, there's limited fans this year. Be nice when we get all the fans back. But, yeah, it's always a fun week.
And then the week after that, it's the Players Championship, which really is the 5th major. You really enjoy playing there at TPC Sawgrass?
I do, yeah. It's a special tournament, and it's it's our flagship event, and like you said, it's probably that's probably year in year out the strongest field. That between that and the PGA maybe. So yeah, it's a great course, tough course. Now they've moved it back to March.
So what's more difficult?
The weather was so good in May.
That's true. Yeah, what's more difficult? Hitting your tee shot on 17 at Sawgrass or the tee shot on 16 out in Scottsdale, where they have the stadium and people are screaming and yelling? Which one's more difficult?
Sawgrass for sure.
Does the
it's a shorter shot, but obviously it's an island green, so I think there's a little more pressure there. The 16th of Phoenix is super fun. You're going to get booed if you just miss the green by an inch, but I like it. I enjoy it. It's a fun hole.
So does that bother, because if people aren't aware, you got to watch this, I think it's the Waste Management, hole 16. It's like a football stadium around this par 3. Fans are drinking, carrying on, screaming and yelling, unlike a normal golf tournament. Do y'all like that? Or you just kind of tune it out just like a football player does when the crowd is screaming?
I enjoy it. I will say I would not like it every week, but I do enjoy it. Some guys, there's a handful of guys that won't go there because they don't like it. I think most guys embrace it, but that 16th hole has just gotten, it went from 1 story to 2 levels to 3 levels deep all the way around. And for years and years, there was a group of fraternity guys that would sit right there next to the tee box where we hit. And they literally had sheets of paper and notes on anything and everything they could find out about every player. And they would just absolutely harass the crap out of you on the tee every time.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. So tell me this story. I remember it. And then I thought about it the other day when I was looking at your bio. I think it was in 2017. You and your wife, Kimberly, who actually is a Gator as well. Her brother's Michael Gilmore. You also have a daughter that's a cheerleader here, right?
She cheered for 2 years. She's not cheering now. She's a junior, but she cheered her first 2 years. Yeah.
Okay. So she's retired from cheering. But you and your wife found a mistake that the PGA Tour made. I think it was in 2017 on Ian Poulter, where he was going to lose his PGA Tour card. Can you kind of walk us through that, how that all happened?
Yeah, it's a long story, but, I was coming off 2 surgeries and I was playing on a major medical. and it was coming down to the end. And the week prior in San Antonio, I had played well and got enough points to get my full status back and get off that medical. And Ian Poulter that week happened to be his last event on his medical. And he came up short with the points to stay exempt. They sent me a notification that the players was coming up 2 weeks later, I think. So they sent me notification that I'd got enough points. I was going to be able to play in the players, which was good news. And then somehow, gosh, I'm drawing a blank here. They recalculated the points, and they went back and adjusted Poulter's points because they were counting. They had changed the point structure that year. So in essence, guys that were playing on the medical that year were getting less points for certain finishes than when we were playing prior to our injury. So it wasn't fair. So they went back and adjusted the points to what they were before we got hurt. So Poulter ended up getting about 75 more points. And I had looked that up I didn't even know the point structure. I'd looked it up on my end and saw that I had actually earned more points than they were giving me. And then that brought it to their attention, and they went back and recalculated, and that got Poulter exemption. He got into the players 2 weeks later and finished second, won about $1 million.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I remember that. I remember he got hot after that and played extremely well. Also, you and your wife, y'all are really involved in a bunch of different charities. Talk a little bit about some that are very meaningful to y'all. Yeah,
well, my partnership with Diamond Resorts has been about 8 years now, and it started out as the Brian Gay Invitational, which benefited the Florida Hospital for Children. It's since evolved into a celebrity event, and it's the LPGA Tournament of Champions in January, which is on TV every year now. That kind of evolved. We raised a few $1 million for that the first few years for the Florida Hospital for Children. So that's been the most of the charity we've done.
What's this one she wanted me to mention? Is it Mia's Miracles?
Yeah, that was for I got some money from the Thunderbirds who run the waste management in Phoenix. They give a donation when guys win tournaments, which was a nice surprise for my win. They sent me a letter saying they give you money to donate to your charity of choice, and we chose Mia's Miracles, which is for Camilo's daughter, the charity that they start in honor of her.
I gotcha. We're speaking with Brian Gay. A few more minutes with him. You can follow him on Twitter at Brian Gay PGA. All right, you have a choice between the 4 majors. Which one would you prefer to win?
The Masters, hands down.
Yeah, that's pretty easy question to answer there. No question about that. Okay, so I think you're about 48. You're a couple years younger than me. When you turn 50, are you going to try to play on the senior tour or stay on the young man tour?
I've just turned 49, so I don't have much longer. But getting that last win in Bermuda, I've got about 3 years worth of exemptions, which is good. So I'll have choices and opportunities and available options to me for both tours. So I'll just see how it goes. I'm really not looking forward to the Champions Tour right now. I'd like to stay on the tour until I get sick of the young guys beating me. But right now, that's kind of the plan. I'm sure I'll play a couple out there next year, starting out just to kind of test the waters, see how it goes. But right now, I want to still stay focused on the PGA Tour.
All right, I got a dumb question here, but this has always intrigued me. So let's just say whatever tournament you're playing in, Brian, you're not in the hunt. You're probably going to finish 20th, 25th, somewhere around there, which the money is very, very good, and it varies from tournament to tournament. And you come to a hole, and whether you have an eagle putt, birdie putt, or whatever, does your caddy ever come up to you and say, "Hey, man, if you 2-putt here, we're gonna win an extra $30,000. If you 3-putt here and you make a bogey, it's going to cost us this." Do y'all ever talk about like the money situation at all?
No, it's kind of just, you kind of know in the back of your head, but it's not really. I've never had a caddy actually say that to me. You definitely might get coming down on a Friday. You might talk about, if you're close to the cut line, are we on it? Do we need a birdie? Are we ahead of it? Something like that. But when it comes down to the end of the tournament, no, we're not talking about. That's the last thing I want to know is, you got a 2-putt this, or it's going to cost you $100,000 or something like that. But it's not generally discussed in terms of money.
Okay, I've always been curious about that. Okay, last thing, you're getting ready for Bay Hill, and obviously the following week it's a big tournament, TPC Sawgrass. Real quick, tell us kind of like what your preparation is leading up to these tournaments.
Well, this past week I had a week off, which was nice. I had 3 in a row out in California and Phoenix, so just trying to recharge my batteries a little bit. Took it kind of easy, practiced a couple days because it's going to be a grind. It's, Bay Hill's tough. The players is tough. Then down to the Honda, we got a big 3 weeks, which is tough golf courses, probably windy. So just try to be fresh and recharged. I'll go through my normal routine, before the tournament. I'll probably play 9 holes today, 9 holes tomorrow, take it easy on Wednesday before the first round Thursday. Just get out and see how the course is playing. I heard Bay Hill's in great shape.
So, as you mentioned, they're gradually letting fans back. I have to ask this because, y'all do hit some bad tee shots every now and then. And it seems like, with the gallery, it helps you because a lot of times it may hit a fan and stay in bounds or what have you. Have you seen that hurt some players where there's no gallery out there?
Oh, I'm sure. I would be willing to bet there's definitely been more lost balls for sure. There's nobody out there to, obviously locate your ball before you even get down there. You got, maybe a couple of marshals out there. And if they don't see it, then, now they've lessened the time from 5 to 3 minutes, which is actually a pretty big deal when you're looking for a ball. So I don't know the stats, but I'm sure lost balls have had to have gone up, as well as, none of the rough obviously is trampled down. So you're going to get worse lies if there is a bunch of rough. You're not going to probably get lucky and have a trampled down lie in the rough. So I think it's made a difference.
Yeah. I got to ask you this too. When you played in Hawaii, where all the winners play the first event of the year, you played with your shirt untucked. Did you get fined? I mean, because like in the NFL, if you don't wear your socks a certain way and your belt's doing this, your shirt's not tucked in or whatever, they will fine you. Do they fine you on the PGA Tour for not having your shirt tucked in?
No, I haven't heard of that. No, now I will say the real reason I had it untucked was those pants I had tried them on before and I had never worn them. And I got up that morning and put the pants on and they were a little too tight. And I could barely button them. And so I just decided my shirt was kind of short anyway. I decided just to leave it. It wasn't going to stay in. I could barely button my pants, so I left it out. But nobody wears their shirt tucked in Hawaii anyway. So I figured if I was going to have my shirt fell out, it was a good place to be.
Yeah, well, hey, you could set a trend.
And that was actually Aloha. It was Aloha Friday, so I guess I got away with it.
I got you.
That's how I got away with it.
Brian, your thoughts on when you heard about Tiger Woods, what happened to him?
Oh, it's just terrible. I was just there playing in the tournament he hosts there at Riviera, and I saw him out at the golf course Saturday and Sunday. And then to fly home and then hear that news was obviously not good. Just glad to know that he's okay. It could have been much worse. If you look at that accident and the SUV he was driving was just demolished. So it's very fortunate that he came out of it. Hopefully his leg will heal up and he'll be all right.
Yeah. All right, my man. I appreciate you taking time. I know you're busy. We wish you luck this week and the rest of the year. Maybe you'll get back. Maybe they'll have fans back and we'll see you in the swamp. You didn't make any games last year, right?
No, I did not. I didn't really have any interest with nobody there.
That's true. The tailgating and all that's the fun part of it. All right, Brian, be safe, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Shane.
That's Brian Gay. Join us on the Titan More Hotline. Going to take our final time out of this Wednesday edition. When we come back, we'll wrap it up.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, where you matter most. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. G-Tech Sport, keep your athletes in the game with G-Tech Sport. Celebration Point Town Center, Center State Bank, Chris Doring Mortgage. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Big Mills Cheesesteaks, MB Listing, Cornerstone Financial, McDonald's of Gainesville, My IT Masters, Gainesville Neon and Signs, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Chick-fil-A on Archer Road, Avera and Smith, Dowling Signs, Chomp Carter Apparel, Ruse Ogra Agent, State Farm Insurance, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the Advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Welcome back to this Wednesday edition of Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crom. On this Wednesday, I want to thank JC for joining us and Brian Gay from the PGA Tour taking his time to talk a little bit about his career. We wish him luck the rest of the year. Tomorrow's show will be Brent Beard talking college football and Baker Sporting Goods High School Roundup. Today's show's a wrap, folks. Be safe out there. We will see you tomorrow.